Hey, my friends. Welcome to the Relationship Revolution. Yeah, I'm changing the name. I decided. Uh, I've been calling these live stream learning because, well, that's what they are, right? I'm going live and teaching you some things about relationships. And then it hit me the other day. I don't want to just teach. I want to revolutionize the way that you think about and go about your relationships. I want to revolutionize. I want to turn on its head how our population as a whole understands what it means to love. Like we all know that there's power in love. Like that seems like kind of like just a cultural assumption. Like love is powerful, love can change the world. But it's lip service shit when we say it. And I I know that it is so much more than lip service. Like that there is a deep-rooted truth in that. But we have the idea of love all wrong. So I'm calling this going forward. These are conversations in the relationship revolution. Okay? Just so we're all clear on that. And in today's conversation, I want to talk about like getting your partner to change and whether or not that's even possible. Because I talk to a lot of people, clients and prospective clients, friends and family who believe that their partner either can't or won't change, whether it's because it's just their personality, it's who they are, it comes from trauma, it's how they've always been, or they've tried everything, they've talked to their partner about it, thousands of times, and the partner keeps saying that they're going to change, and then they don't, so they just give up, and they're like, well, I guess they're not going to change. And that's a pretty shitty place to be, especially if the things that you desire to be different within your partner are really important to your dreams for your life. Now, this might be stirring some stuff up in you. And if it is, good, because I know there's also this cultural narrative around like, oh, we're not supposed to try to change our partners. That's what I have to say to that. But I'm going to put a pin in it because I want to take a minute for anybody who is new tuning in to this conversation and introduce myself. So, my name is Dr. Jenny Wallig, doctor for my PhD in couple and family therapy. That is my background. I am the co founder of Powerful Love Relationships, along with my partner and soulmate, Calvin O'Seely. And we are the creators of the three pillar Powerful Love method, which empowers you to transform your relationship even if your partner isn't on board in doing that work with you. Okay? So it's really powerful stuff. And I love this because the truth of the matter is it takes each person to be responsible for their own stuff. And yet we are in relationship, which means we influence, we affect one another. And so even if your partner isn't like consciously aware of their stuff, when you become consciously aware of your stuff and change who you be and the dance steps that you're doing in your relationship, they will necessarily shift theirs because that is how relationships work. So keep this in mind because this is an important thread for the conversation we're going to have today. But this is a foundational aha for the work that we've done, and it really came from the fact that my schooling from I've studied relationships in my undergrad, a master's degree, and my PhD, and in none of it did we talk about personal accountability or the way each person within a relationship system needs to step into their own power and sovereignty and like consciousness in order for the relationship to actually change. Rather, we go with like the dominant cultural view, which is trying to get our partner to understand who we are and be different so we can feel different. And that's where the problem comes in. Now, coming into this conversation, right? Like, yeah, the reason that your partner is not changing is because you're trying to get them to change. I mean, How well does it work when somebody's trying to get you to change or tells you who you are exactly as you are right here, right now, isn't enough? Doesn't feel good. And we don't feel loved, we don't feel accepted, we don't feel enough. And when we're experiencing that kind of reflection from our partners, or anybody else, right, but our partners most of all, we dig our heels in the sand and defend who we be. We don't want to budge. We want to be loved and accepted exactly who we are, exactly where we're at. So that doesn't work. It doesn't, as much as you might try to explain and justify and help your partner understand how much it affects you when they behave this way. You would think, especially if you're the kind of person who does this yourself, right? You would think that if they understood how they're impacting you and they genuinely cared about you, that they would change. And the fact is they do genuinely care, and maybe they do even really understand. And that's why they're saying, like, yeah, okay, I'll try to change. But they don't, because you're still trying to get them to change. Now bear with me, because I'm going to get to what actually works, how we actually get them to change. But the trying by telling them what they need to do to change, I think maybe I just need to say it this way. The trying to get them to change by telling them how they need to change and why they need to change, that's the way that really doesn't work very well. That's like pushing a boulder up a hill, friend. It is slow, it is hard, it is painful. Nobody likes it. And there's an easier way. And before we get into the easier way, I want to address this idea, this resistance to the idea, rather, that it is okay to try to get our partner to change. Y'all, the function of our relationships, aside from opening up opportunities for us to become happier and realize all of our dreams and have that amazing experience of love and connection, the purpose of our relationship is to grow us, is to change us. Love changes us. Connection changes us. Companionship changes us. Trying to build a life with another human being who is different from you is going to change you necessarily, or you're not going to be able to be very successful in building that life together. Our relationships, our marriages, our committed partnerships, more than any other thing in our life, I would say kids second and entrepreneurship third to that, but our relationships number one, invite us to become aware of those parts of ourselves that are in need of healing, are in need of expanding, are layers that gets to be chopped away, that are not our authenticity, not our truth, that invite us into our courage, that invite us to learn about our power and our purpose, to connect to spirit. There are so many gifts that your relationship is bringing into your life through the invitation of struggle and challenge, through the invitation of friction and difference. You have to know that that's what it's doing, and you have to receive the opportunity, the lesson, to let it transform you. And when you do that, magic happens, truly. Okay? So I'm trying to reconnect to my thoughts, because I don't actually have notes for this conversation today. I often have notes for myself, but today I just was I wasn't ready. And then I knew what I wanted to talk about, and I was like, fuck it, I'm not going to bring notes. I'm just going to let it flow through me. So where was I going with this? Yes. Our relationships are supposed to change us. Now, when I say our relationships, what that means is being in relationship with you specifically, is supposed to change your partner. Being in relationship with your partner is supposed to change you. And that doesn't just happen because you're in a relationship together. It happens because while being in relationship together, there's something that's not working ideally, or the way that you desire for it to do. Now, sometimes those desires are an invitation not for your partner to change or expand so much, but for you to. But you don't even find that unless you're doing what I'm gonna talk about in a second. You don't even do your own expansion unless you're taking, like, approaching your, trying to get your partner to change in the way that's effective. So I digress. Getting, like, wanting your partner to change, desiring your partner to change is not about, and cannot be about, let me say it that way too, cannot be about seeing them or thinking about them as not good enough the way they are, right? There has to be a foundational, like, they are good enough the way they are. I would still choose them even if they never change. Okay. Or I believe that they have the potential to change, and I trust that they will, and I'm going to stick with them in that journey because I know that how they're being now isn't who they are always going to be. I'll say that too, because in the beginning of my relationship with Cal, or well, in 2.0, when we were restarting after 7 years, and it was really, really freaking bad, I couldn't have stayed in that relationship if he'd never changed. But I could stay in the relationship because I trusted that he would, and I was willing to go on the journey with him. And in so doing, I fucking changed a lot. I became more of who I am, who I was supposed to be. And so has he. And it's been indescribable, y'all. Indescribable. So from where I'm sitting, it is part of the divine design of our relationships that we desire for our partner to be different in some ways. It's just comes with the package of being in relationships. Again, it's not about your partner being broken, not about your partner not being good enough, not about you being broken or not being good enough. If your partner desires for you to change, it is an invitation to growth and expansion. And that is what your relationship is supposed to do. And what happens, y'all, is because, like, asking someone to change often doesn't work very well. We don't know how to invite our partner into the growth and changes that we desire. It creates conflict or rocks the boat. It creates frustration. Like, it just, because we don't know how to do this well, or because we're thinking that we're not supposed to, we just have to settle and accept, and, you know, that love is just simple acceptance. Put a pin in that. I'm going to circle back on that one. Like, we're either asking our partner to change in a way that, like, causes disharmony and sometimes harm in our relationship, or we're not asking and we are what's the word I'm looking for, like non-consciously conspiring to allow them to stay the same so we can stay the same, because it's more, it's like, if they're growing, you're growing, first of all, and it's more comfortable not to do growth, because growth is uncomfortable like 99.9% of the time. So if you are not inviting your partner to step into a higher level of themselves, if you're not calling them on their shit, if you're not holding them accountable, if you're not expressing your needs and desires, if you're not like insisting that this isn't working for me, and then supporting your partner in that change, you're part of the problem. You are doing a disservice to your partner, to your relationship, to yourself. That is not love, my friend. That is those decisions to, like, not continue to move into expansion, to lean into that courage space. Those decisions come from a place of, like, fear of the unknown, fear of being disappointed, fear of being uncomfortable, fear of things not changing and then being hurt. Like, that's not love. If you're in fear or self-protection, if you're in just, like, keep it placated, you're not in love. Okay? This is a part of what I mean, and what I desire in this work that we're doing in Powerful Love to help shift. It's like how we think about what love is. Love is not just accepting your partner where they're at and never asking them to change. That is actually non-love in my book. Okay? So the thing that I wanted to put a pin in, what was it? It'll come back to me. If not, type in the comments what it was, and then I'll write it in the comments because I know you'll cue me up. So let me talk to you about what does work. What you do, like what you can do, what this can look like, that is actually going to get you the results that you desire. And it's this, my friend: change your steps in the dance. Because, like I said in the beginning of this conversation, y'all are in a relationship. You are a system. And when one part of a system changes, and we know this from science, when one part of a system changes, the other part must change too. If you want your partner to be different, then your responsibility is to look at, like take a real honest, non-judgmental, but honest, radically honest look at how you have been contributing to the ongoing behavior that your partner is already doing. Okay? This is where it gets tricky. People have a really hard time seeing this in themselves. I happen to be really good at seeing this in other people and am increasingly better at seeing it in myself. But it's hard to see without a mirror. To just turn inward and see clearly through all of our lenses and self-protective places. This is why having a mentor is so helpful. But even without a mentor, just knowing if you're feeling stuck, look first at you, love. Look first at you. How you're participating in your partner continuing their behavior might look like you not helping to create a sense of safety for them to venture into stretching themselves. None of us grow very well when we are feeling unsafe. We contract, we do not expand. And our intimate partner relationships are like our most important zone of safety for our personal expansion. It's been that way since we were infants and we were attached to our parents, okay? This is attachment science. Our attachment relationships are necessary for our expansion. So if you're not supporting or contributing to your partner feeling safe, which means helping them feel loved and enough for who they are, right? Helping them feel understood and cared about, helping them feel supported in the changes that you're asking them to make. Part of what we teach in a communication course that we do, and if you comment assertive messaging below, I'll send you the worksheet that we use with this. But we teach assertive conversations. But when I learned assertive messaging, it was a 4-part assertive message. And it ended with like expressing what you need from a partner. And that is like the traditional approach to love and communication and partnership. Where is the piece about how you're going to help them? Because you all are a team. So getting your partner to change is like, how do you help your teammate be successful? I'm not a sports person, but I'm lucky because Cal is. So he's taught me a thing or two about like team sports culture. And it's like, if your teammates are just pointing the finger at you and telling you about like how you're sucking and you need to get better, you don't feel safe or cared about or supported by your team. You're going to have a lot of pressure and anxiety while you're trying to get better. And guess how well we do at changing? When we feel pressure, anxiety, fear of failure, fear of consequences, fear of not getting it right, fear of letting our partner down, fear of hurting the person we love most in the world, we freeze up. We experience resistance. We don't want to. This is why your partner says that they're going to change and isn't changing. Because consciously they want to, but unconsciously they're not feeling safe enough. They're not feeling supported. They may not know how or when, because it's not in their brain and their nervous system like it is for you. You get to help them with that. That's what a partnership is. This shift toward understanding that we have a powerful, powerful influence on who our partner is, how they think, how they feel, how they behave, their personality, how that's expressed, right? Even folks with personality disorders. I have a supervisee who's working with a couple of people actually whose whose spouses are struggling with severe mental illness or personality disorders. And she, in her brilliance, is coaching these, the half of this partner system to respond differently to the cycles of their partner's mental health or personality disorder, to the bait that their partner might put out there to draw them into conflict or argument, right? Like, she is helping her clients learn how to manage their own stuff and take different steps in the dance with partners who historically we would think aren't going to change. But what happens in the relational context, like, it doesn't maybe make their mental illness or personality disorder go away, but in the relational dance, it's expressed differently. So the client that my supervisee is working with gets to experience that relationship differently. There's less suffering. There's less energy drain in the relationship. There's more moments of joy and connection. There's more moments of peace and ease because one person is doing something different in a relationship with someone who historically most people say couldn't or wouldn't change. This is the power we have, my friends. And if you have a partner who's saying, I want to change, I want to be different, I want to be better, and they have it, and you trust that they maybe have it in them, even if the change hasn't really happened or happened well, then let's look at your power. Let's look at what you can do. And if you don't know the way, that's when you got to reach out to us, right? Because this is what we do. This is my zone of genius. And Cal has a different, he like approaches this zone of genius from a different angle, which is really lovely because you're not just getting my genius, you're getting his too. And we facilitate your transformation, but we're just guides on your journey. You got to be willing to like walk it and have us with you. So, that's what I want to say about that. I would love to know, as I wrap this up, I would love to know, like, what is coming up for you? What is hitting you? What ahas are you experiencing? What resistance are you experiencing? What yeah buts are coming up? Or what it like, oh, I think I could, like, I had an aha, I could try this. I want to do this. Let me know, because I recognize that two things about myself. One, I am a generator. That is my human design. So I shine when I get to respond to things. And so your comments, your feedback helps like connect me to how I can continue to serve and support you and this relationship revolution that I am so committed to. So you're going to help me do that. And I desire to help you take even more powerful steps toward your, like, to the relationship of your dreams, right? But the other thing is my love language is words of affirmation. And so if like nothing feels better for me than to know that I have had some kind of impact in your life, to know that you've gained something valuable from this conversation, and to know what that is so I can keep doing more of it. But that is a give back that you can give to me, just letting me know like your experience of this conversation and all of our conversations going forward. This was a lot of fun. I'm gonna try to go unscripted more often. I think maybe I'll have a little bit of notes so I can not lose the things I'm putting pins in. But who knows? I'm gonna play with this relationship revolution, and I'm grateful that you are here and tuning into it, because the truth is, my friend, relationship revolution begins with each one of us. It begins with you. Till next time.